What's up everyone, this is Bart and welcome to the long expected Q&A about my trip to North Korea. I was so surprised to see how involved all you guys are, and I literally received more than 500 questions, so that means that I cannot answer them all, but today I really try my best. In the description below I put all the links to the questions, so if you don't want to see everything then go straight to the question that you are interested in. I guess we can start. Hapsida. Question number 1. How serious is fine dust in North Korea since it's more close to China? A lot of people ask me that. So yes, it did look a little bit dusty and foggy sometimes in Pyongyang, but overall it felt more clear and clean than in Seoul. I'm pretty sure about that. In the night I could even see so many stars, and I mean many stars. 별 많이 볼 수 있었어요. 진짜요. So I really believe it's not worse than Seoul, and I also have to add to this that in Pyongyang there are just not many cars, unlike in Seoul. There are so many cars here that also contribute to the pollution. So yeah, overall, Pyongyang more clear, you can breathe, it feels fresh, and in the night you can see the stars. That's something I really miss in Seoul sometimes. Next question. What is the exchange rate with North Korea? So for $1, I could get 9,500 North Korean won. I got one of the bills here. This is the biggest bill, it's 5,000 North Korean won. And sorry if the background changed a little bit because I tried to stand up and everything fell on the ground. Anyway, next question. Where did or could I buy my souvenirs? Well, actually there was only one good place where you could really buy the local North Korean products, and I was in a Gwangbok department store. This is also the only place where we could exchange our money to North Korean won, and we only had 1 hour to shop inside there. Because we were not allowed to film inside, I have to describe a little bit how it looks like. So it's a 3-floor department store, and on the first floor there's a supermarket with also kitchen stuff. On the second floor you can buy clothes. Most of them were made in China. And on the third floor there's a food court where you could buy nice North Korean food. There I tried sushi there, which was frozen. Really weird. It was a little bit tasteless. Anyway, this place was extremely cheap. I could buy like a soju bottle like this for only 100 won, South Korean won. So you can imagine how cheap that supermarket was. Yeah, and these are the few sojus that I bought there. They were actually not bad. And they were recommended by the North Koreans in the supermarket. And I'm not sure if it's because it was New Year's Eve almost. That place was full of North Koreans. It was so busy that I was kind of afraid to fill the shoppings, that I didn't have enough time to buy enough groceries because the lines were so long. But anyway, so they didn't allow us to keep the North Korean won. At the end of our shopping hour, we had to exchange it back to dollars. But I didn't do it. But they never asked, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm happy that I didn't do it because now I have a nice souvenir. That also means that as a tourist you cannot buy just food or things on the street anywhere you want. It's just not possible because you don't have the local currency and you are not allowed to pay with dollars at any local store. So you can buy only souvenirs at places where they bring you, and the department store is the only place where also North Koreans go for shopping. So next, what did I buy? What kind of souvenirs did I buy? Well, some of them you can see here. You could see the soju bottles. If you really want to know what I bought and why I bought it, then please check this video. It's on my girlfriend's channel and there we show everything that I bought. Many of those things I don't have anymore because, you know, I ate it or I drank it. Next. So the next question, I found it a little bit weird, but after Guia explained it to me, I think it's kind of funny. So, are there any physical differences between North Koreans and South Koreans? And I have to mention here the word 남남북녀? 남남북녀? 다시. 남남북녀. Honestly, I never heard of this before, but it basically means that in South Korea they think that the North Korean women are beautiful and the men in South Korea are handsome. So what can I say about this? Well, honestly, the women in North Korea were really pretty. They were really attractive. Almost all of the women I've seen, they were quite attractive. And not even in Pyongyang only, also outside of Pyongyang. Yeah, they were attractive and friendly. And I think the beauty is in the smile, in the cheeks. They have a little bit like a pillow cheek with, you know, a beige red color. And that made them also look really cute. So that's all I can say. Next, yeah, I got this question also a lot. People ask me, do Pyongyang children look the same as children outside of Pyongyang? And many people that haven't been to Korea, they apparently know the answer better than me because they wrote in the comments like, oh yeah, the Pyongyang children are part of the richer families. True, but it doesn't mean they look very different from all the other children in the country. So what I have seen from the train ride all the way from the north to Pyongyang, outside of Pyongyang in Gaesong, Sariwon, and also while I was sitting in the bus, all the children, they look kind of the same, you know, they wear colorful, nice clothes. The brands that you saw in the video, they're probably fake. I'm pretty sure about that. So I guess that just means that parents always take care of the children, no matter where and no matter in what kind of situation. I even talked to a few North Korean defectors and they told me that probably only 0.5% of the children in North Korea don't look like the children in Pyongyang. So here you go, that's just of what I have seen, and yeah, I would say just go check it out or ask a North Korean defector. Next question is, what is the fashion trend? So what I have seen, many women, they wear this long padding jacket, like in South Korea, but these padding jackets are more slim, like more fit to the body, and they all have this fur collar around the neck and also around the wrists. And I must say that it looks nice. It looks nice. And for the men, I don't really know how to describe their fashion, but what I learned is that they are not allowed to wear jeans. So none of the men or boys that you see, they wear jeans. That's all I can say. Next question. What are the differences between North Korea and South Korea? So yeah, there are a few obvious differences. So when you go to North Korea, it feels like you're going back in time, like you're going back to the 60s, 70s or 80s. Yeah, besides that, of course, the systems are totally different. If you look at the personality of people, I think they seem kind of similar to me, because I'm pretty sure that the North Koreans like soju, mekju and singing as much as the South Koreans do. And also they are really shy, but at the same time they are super polite and really friendly, and that's also what I experienced from South Korean people. So one more thing I want to say about this is, in North Korea you don't see people staring at their phone all the time, because of the simple fact that either they don't have like phones or they don't have something on the phone that keeps their attention for a long time. You would be surprised how quickly you get used to not having a phone, like I did for 6 days. I only missed it for one time, and that was with New Year's Eve, that I couldn't message my family and friends and girlfriend. But yeah, that's it. So next question is related to the previous question. Do the North Koreans have some kind of application on the phone? Yes, they do actually. I'm not sure, I think it's only in Pyongyang, because my guide was using her phone all the time and she was messaging with her friends. So they have an intranet, which is only for the North Koreans. Like, they don't have any opportunity to use their phone for other purposes outside of North Korea. That's just impossible. In Pyongyang, I've seen many people with a phone, especially with New Year's Eve. You saw all those people filming the performance. But yeah, we all know that Pyongyang is for the higher class. 감사합니다. Always time for coffee break. What was the most shocking thing I have experienced? First, I was really shocked about how cold it was in North Korea compared to South Korea. Even though it's so close, it was much colder. Then you also realize that, shit, those people don't have any freaking electricity, or not much of it, or they have to find really difficult ways to heat the place up. Even for the tourists, like even in the hotel, like the first night and a few other nights, it was just cold. So even for the tourists, they had problems to keep the place hot. It's really sad if you think about it, because during the day it was -10 or even colder, and those people have to survive the whole winter in a shitty cold like that. Yeah, that broke my heart. Like one time, a little bit in the outskirts of Pyongyang, we also went to a farm, and there I saw some farmers. They're working with water in a well, and they were doing that with their bare hands. And I remember at that time it was like almost -16, so it was extremely cold. Another thing that shocked me as well was how much the North Koreans worship their leaders. Really, it's terrifying almost. No, especially when we were in the Palace of the Sun, where the bodies of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il are. People just were crying when they walked out. I saw that, and that's why they needed a handkerchief. You don't believe it, even when you see it, you're like, what? Yeah, this question I find very interesting, even for me, before I went to North Korea. People ask me, did you have any problems with immigration? Because myself, I live in South Korea. Simple answer, no, not a problem at all. They never asked me anything, or they never behaved differently. I guess living in South Korea as a foreigner and you go to North Korea isn't harmful at all for your trip. What I do know, and what I also heard from North Korean defectors, is that the police in North Korea, or the immigration, they screen your whole profile before you even get the visa. So once you get the visa, I assume that they accept your situation. So they definitely knew I was living in South Korea. They can also see many stamps in my passport, but they never made a problem out of it. Even for people that are born in South Korea and later got a different nationality because they moved or they immigrated to another country, they are allowed to go to North Korea. And to say a little bit more about this, I could even talk with my North Korean guide about South Korea. I asked her, like, what if Korea gets reunified? Where is the first place you want to go to in South Korea? And she said, I want to go to Jeju, I want to enjoy the scenery, I want to climb Halasan Mountain. And I was so surprised about that answer. And I also asked it to my other North Korean guide, and she said, no, you know, do you really think it's different than Pyongyang? I don't think so. So I don't have any reason to tell you where I want to go first. So 2 different guides, 2 different answers, which was really interesting. Now there's one thing that you must know, that in North Korea you're not allowed, or you're allowed, but better not to do it, to say South Korea, like the words South Korea. Hanguk. They don't understand. To them there's only Goryeo, there's only Joseon, there's only one peninsula, it's one country. So you have to say Nam Joseon. I'm from the southern part of the Korean peninsula. For the North Koreans, that part is just occupied by the Americans, but it's still one country. And that's a big difference with South Korea and North Korea as well. What was the most scary thing that I have experienced in North Korea? Well, there are not many scary things that I've experienced, but a few tense situations that I created myself. First, when we were at the flower exhibition, where they show the flowers of Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-ilia and Kim Il-sung, I was wondering, why don't they have a flower of Kim Jong-un yet? Even though I knew the answer a little bit, but I was bored, so I wanted to be stupid funny. So I asked a guide, why don't you have a Kim Jong-unia yet? But just because it sounds funny. But boom, her face turned to angry mode, and she was staring at me, and she pretended that she didn't understand the questions. No way, he didn't ask me this. And Kim Jong-un is not yet dead, so why should there be a flower? And no, we cannot even talk about his death. So I was like, oops, I should not ask that anymore. Another thing is, when we were in the Palace of the Sun, I saw a painting of Kim Il-sung talking with another leader, and I pointed at the painting and I asked my guide, who is he talking to? Boom. And also she became suddenly really angry. She said, I told you, you are not allowed to point at the leaders at any time, not even at a painting. You have to, or point like this. So they put me in place again. I was like, shit. I think that the scariest part was when I was in Sariwon. They gave us the opportunity to look around for a little bit. And I jumped on the ice there on the lake. And at that time, there was no guide with me, so they didn't see that. So instead, there were strange men following me, and then I later heard from North Korean defectors that those men were from the police department. They gave a really a weird feeling until my guide came back, and she was trying to explain that they are not used to foreigners, but that was kind of a scary moment, but still I must say that I wasn't really scared. Next question is a little bit hard. So people ask me, are there any uncomfortable things that happened to you? Not particularly that happened to me, but what I found very uncomfortable was the whole schedule of the tour. It was so fully packed that a lot of times I didn't really have the time to explore the area or to try to talk to North Koreans, because every time after the explanation of a certain landmark, we only had 5 minutes to take a picture or shoot a video and talk to North Korean people. And so you had to choose. It's either take a picture, shoot a video, or talk to North Korean people. And I wanted to do all of them. So I was shooting a video and I tried to talk to North Korean people, but we never really had the time for that. And it's the same as at the Arc of Triumph. That was actually the moment where I had most time to talk to the children. Even I got more time from the guide because I was enjoying so much. Yeah, she was asking me come, let's go, we have to go to the next stop. The benefit is you see a lot of things of North Korea, but also because of that you don't really see a lot of things because you don't have the time to really look around carefully. A few short questions. Would I travel again if I can? Yes, of course. I would definitely go back, but to different places. I heard from my tour company that they are now organizing a beer brewery tour, and that sounds like the perfect tour for me because I love beer, and it's a good way to see other places than they have been visiting so far. And hopefully next time I can come back with South Koreans. That would be nice. People ask me a lot, Bart the oppa, Bart the young, did you get sick? No. In fact, my stomach was doing better in North Korea than in South Korea. I don't know, for some reason South Korea, my stomach is never doing well. But in North Korea it was doing perfectly fine. And I think the reason for that is that they don't use a lot of spices in their food. So it's a little bit natural, and I guess that's better for my stomach. Other people from the group, however, did get sick. I don't know what the reason was. Maybe they are not used to Asian food, maybe they ate something wrong, or maybe they drank something wrong. One time I was pretty sure it was because of the beer that we had, because the beer was really bad. I was in Gyeongsang in the hotel. It was the worst beer I ever had in my life. So could I go somewhere else besides what they have planned for us? No, of course not. It's a package tour, so we have to follow what they booked for us. Cannot just go to random places and when the day is over you go back to your hotel and that's where you stay and that's where you have to stay. You can exit the hotel door and then you can walk around the hotel. That's allowed, even though people didn't do it because it was way too dark. But besides that, you're not allowed to go somewhere else. Does everyone have to pay respect to the leaders? Yes, even as a foreigner you have to bow one time. Otherwise, you just have to stay in a bus and then you miss the whole tour. But yeah, that's something you know before you go there. I just compare it with abiding the rules in any other country you would go to. And in North Korea, you just know that that is an important rule. So yeah, it doesn't feel good to do it, but it's something you have to do. And there was one person who asked me, like, Bart, you said in the voiceover that you entered the country with just a few questions and you exit the country with 1,000 questions. So what are those questions? I'm not going to tell you all 1,000 questions, but I can tell you this, that the biggest question I have now is I wonder if the North Korean people truly worship the leaders from their heart. Or is it a survival act? You cannot read their faces. You don't know if that's something they really feel. The biggest question mark I have. I just want to say a few words to wrap up this Q&A. We should definitely not forget like the horrors that are happening in North Korea. We should definitely not forget. The people that I met on the tour are probably part of the higher class. Or not, because I also have been outside of Pyongyang. But what I know, even though they are people from the higher class, they are still people like you and me. They wake up, they have a daily life, they need to survive. I just hope that peace comes to the peninsula. I really received so many touching comments. I never expected my videos to be seen by so many people. Anyway, I'm looking forward to focus on South Korea more. Your support is really welcome, and shit, I love all of you, really. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, you must know that I really appreciate you. So last thing I want to say is adios and demo di power.